hear more from you on Brock Purdy changing expectations. Also, Baker Mayfield in or out. I will pass this along to you, Dibs. What do you think? This raises eyebrows at least a little bit. Super Bowl odds for the 49ers were plus 650. And I think they were somewhere in the neighborhood of 6th or 7th favorite to win the Super Bowl. With this news, they go from plus 650 to plus 1,200. That almost double with Brock Purdy going in. Couple quick thoughts. I think that's a little bit of an over push until we see more. However, I also understand it. But I'd also challenge every single person out there, and Dibs, you're one of them. So if Jimmy Garoppolo was so unimportant to the success of the 49ers.
Mediocre.
How come everybody suddenly thinks the 49ers can't win? I thought the 49ers won in spite of Jimmy. That's what everyone's been telling me for the last 3 years. So if you won in spite of Jimmy, well, hell, yesterday shouldn't have even been a ripple.
Well,
they've been winning in spite of their quarterback the whole time.
A little different when you go to a guy who has never played other than one series of mop-up duty in the National Football League. And I would love to get down and bet this 49er team now that they're, what'd you say, plus 1,300?
Plus 12, yeah.
12 to 1 odds?
Yeah.
Because to me, this team didn't miss a beat yesterday, going from Jimmy Garoppolo, captain check down, to a younger, very similar version of a guy who checked it down time and time again. What did they have? 6 yards per attempt yesterday from Brock Purdy, or 5.5 yards per attempt?
I'd have to go a little deeper in that.
I could do the math quickly, but it wasn't.
I got the average per completion.
Right.
Yeah, 5.7 for Brock Purdy. It was 14 for Jimmy. But that, Jimmy, right. Oh, yards per attempt? Yeah, Jimmy was 14 yesterday, 5.7 for Brock Purdy yesterday. But Jimmy only threw the ball 4 times.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So listen, I raised my hand on that one, knowing that I may get called out in the end. If the 49ers end up looking the same over the next 5 weeks with Brock Purdy, well, then Jimmy wasn't much of a thing, was he?
Right. I think that Brock Purdy has the ability to look very much the same. If you think about losing Trent Williams and you put a different left tackle in there, it's going to be harder for that left tackle to, quote, look the same.
Sure.
If you lose Debo or McCaffrey or George Kittle, it's hard for their replacement to, quote, look the same. Same thing with Nick Bosa, Mr. Saccaroni, Fred Warner, and many other players on the field. I think Brock Purdy has the ability to come in and, quote, look the same as Jimmy Garoppolo did.
Do you have the ability to talk to BPA?
I would love to.
All right, BPA. You're up.
Love you, babe.
What are you doing, BPA?
Just listening. Dibs, there are, there's 2 different kinds of strikeouts, right? There is get up to the plate, you foul a few off, but you take strike 3. And then there's just air, right? No contact is made. You continue to whiff flailessly.
Flailessly?
Is that a word?
It is. This is a referendum, Dibs. This is a referendum. So Brock Purdy gets him to the NFC title game. You were right, Dibs.
Yeah.
Okay, because I think, that's where the Niners are trending. And if they don't, I was right, right? And, and obviously I value Jimmy a lot more than you do.
Yeah.
And so I think that's what this is all about right now, right? Brock Purdy has to get them to the NFC title game for Dibs to have been right about his analysis of the 49ers quarterback situation. And one last thing, guys, I apologize. Can I just throw one more thing in?
Don't have to apologize, Brian. We're friends.
The offense Baker Mayfield ran in Cleveland was extraordinarily similar to the 49er offense in that system, right? So if you remember that coach in Cleveland was the coordinator in Minnesota with Kirk Cousins, right? A lot of similarities. So there's and 2 years ago, Baker Mayfield threw 26 touchdowns and 8 interceptions and over 4,000 yards. So on some level, if you have a chance to get him, he was released today, obviously. It's the biggest no-brainer ever. Dibs, I'm right. As you know,
BPA, Brian, let's put lunch on it and a long-awaited, much-anticipated meeting. Me and you, lunch on the line. If the Niners don't make it to the conference championship game, I will buy you lunch at any of your Palo Alto haunts, And if they do make it that far, me and you, sports page, baby, right off of 101 in Palo Alto, the long anticipated meeting of me and you.
I'm done.
Let's do it.
Yeah. You're right, Brian. You're right, Brian. You are. Yeah, because we got to move on to some others. But
just rack that guy for me.
Yep. You guys are in. You're dialed up. I dig it.
I almost don't want to meet him because there's been so much anticipation, and this is weird because I met Jonathan from San Francisco, and meeting him was so much greater than I possibly could have ever imagined. He's just a small, fit mail carrier.
It's awesome to put faces.
He was incredible.
Right, with the voices. Yes.
BPA in person can't possibly match what he's become for me in my career.
He'd be an unbelievable disappointment of a person.
Wow.
The buildup is too much.
It's way
too much. Do you know how hard that is? That'd be like
impossible.
It'd be like LeBron stinking when he got to the NBA. It's like, wait a minute. Like there's so much anticipation that's really hard to meet. LeBron did it, but, he's like the greatest of all time, or right in that conversation. So that's going to be a tough one. Now, I'll give him this, not about your Purdy Jimmy thing. What he just said about Baker in Cleveland and the offense, we did make this point. It did come up when we were talking preseason about Cleveland being a destination for Jimmy. Remember, it was like, oh, well, wait, they've only got 3 weeks till week 1. And so many insiders were like, understand that Jimmy going from the 49ers to Cleveland, pretty similar offense. We think he could pick it up quickly. So that is a point in Baker's favor. Here's the two other sides, though. I still say...
a three-sided argument.
Well, keep it. The second side has two pieces to it. One of them we've already said.
Two-piece.
Keep the right? Is it like KFC two-piece, or are we more of a three-piece guy?
It's more like when you go to hit somebody and you hit him with the two-piece. Draymond tried to get Jordan Poole with the two-piece.
He did.
He got him with the one-piece, and the second piece he was unable to complete.
So as soon as I get to the 4-piece, I'm good?
Thank you.
I don't have a 4-piece. I got a 2-piece, and the one piece is no knuckleheads. But here's the other piece. The 49ers, even if they want him, they probably can't have him.
Right.
Understand the 49ers are 25th in the waiver priority. The idea of Baker Mayfield getting through, now not 24 other teams because the Panthers are one of them, but 23 teams as we approach the playoffs need to say no to Baker Mayfield on the cheap, on the scrap heap. Number 1 overall pick 4.5 years ago. So that seems unlikely, don't you think?
Very unlikely.
Someone's probably going to grab that guy.
And I wonder who it would be. And if we think about teams that need a quarterback and teams that don't want to go with what they have at quarterback, because ultimately if you're going to bring in Baker Mayfield, if you really want him, you're probably not a team that is poised to make a playoff run unless you have an injury at quarterback, right?
Yeah, I wonder. Like, I'm just kind of looking at the standings right now to think about who would want to do this. Because, again, is it a playoff run thing? Is it a longer play? Do you want to take a look at the guy? All of these teams who have huge quarterback question marks, would you want to take a look at someone on the cheap? I don't know. Does Houston want him? I mean, Houston's sitting here just like spinning. Like, we had no idea. I figured Houston's going to come after Jimmy hard in the offseason is what I thought, with Nick Caserio running the show there. And
Houston's probably thinking about drafting a quarterback.
Probably, but even still.
Because they're going to be taking number 1 overall, right?
But wouldn't you want Jimmy then as a placeholder? I mean, Jimmy's price just went down because of what happened yesterday, I would imagine, on the open market. So I don't know. Would New Orleans want to take a look at
How about
Baker
New England?
Mayfield?
I mean, New England is a situation where,
yeesh.
I mean,
I don't know about that.
I don't either, but I'm thinking about
you.
teams that are still, like New England's 6-6. They're still very much alive in the AFC race. They need to make some moves, though, immediately. Cleveland with Deshaun Watson's probably a no.
No, well, Cleveland's not having Baker Mayfield come back.
One more time, Mark. Let's bring him back.
What about Seattle? What about the Seattle Seahawks?
As a fallback plan?
Yeah, or who knows, maybe going forward. Gino's a free agent at the end of the year.
That's true.
I don't know what they're going to want to do going forward. You know what I mean?
The Washington Commanders are a team that will have an earlier priority.
Do the Jets, who are stringing this together with 3 quarterbacks, yet are 7-5 and in the race, do they want to bring another piece into the fold? I have no idea. Do the Colts want to figure something? No clue. No clue. But it seems unlikely that he's going to get to the 49ers, because if he gets to the 49ers, he's going to get all the way through. Because who's behind the 49ers? It's the likes of it's the Chiefs, it's the Bills, it's the Eagles, it's the Cowboys, it's the Vikings.
Yeah.
It's these teams that are totally solidified at that position.
How about the Rams as a possibility,
Well,
right? Because Matthew Stafford out for the year.
Not just out for the year. Doc Chow keeps bringing up that this whole, people are going, oh, well, it's 2 concussions. There's something related to spinal. I have heard him now multiple times say that this is career threatening.
Spinal.
For Matthew Stafford. So when Mike Silver comes on our show and says, you don't understand the depths of how done the Rams are.
Right.
Coach is going to leave. Aaron Donald may not play more than another year or so. Cooper Kupp is out for the year. No idea what the hell's going on for the future of Matt Stafford. And it wasn't looking great even when he was healthy.
Right.
That's a whole rebuild. Do they want Baker in the mix? They don't have any other candidates to take over for Matt Stafford.
And they don't have any draft picks.
Yeah.
So it's not like they can tank for a pick. So that actually, as we pick through the Maker Bayfield or the Baker Mayfield, depends on how you want to pronounce it, sweepstakes, I'm going to go ahead and say the Rams is the team.
Maybe.
Because why not? I mean, if you're the Rams, you've got nothing to lose. And really, you have nothing to gain by losing. So you might as well bring a guy in and get Odell Beckham Jr. too while you're at it.
Yeah, he's meeting with the Cowboys today, by the way. 888-957.
Hopefully he's not flying there. Yeah. Hopefully he's on Greyhound or something.
Private chat. 888-957-9570. Keep it coming. Your expectations for this year have now adjusted in what way? And in or out on the idea you put in a claim on Baker?